You and me, we ain't nothing alike. Let's set the record straight. Those words you say, they hold no weight, they like. Let's set the record straight. You'll never break the man before you're out.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another Diecast review. Today we have a Brad Keselowski early release, or not early release, but it was released earlier in the year. This is the 2021 Pirtek paint scheme. Now there is actually two different variants of this paint scheme. There is one for 2020, and then there is one for 2021. Of course, the 2020, or is it 2019? It might be 2019, I'm not too sure. But it was either 2019 or 2020, there was a different variant. It was the same paint scheme, it was just, a different year. But I did skip out on that one just because I was like, not really feeling it. I like the blue and yellow for obvious reasons, but at the same time, I'm not really a huge fan of it. And then, of course, 2021, they came out with the paint scheme. So I'm like, you know what? If anything, I'll wait until this version releases, and then I'll kind of think about getting that one or not. So, lo and behold, I did decide to pick up this diecast. So, obviously, here it is in front of you. Again, this is the Brad Keselowski 2021 Pirtek paint scheme. Again, the blue and yellow is, a fan of mine for obvious reasons, with it being the channel colors. And honestly, now that I kind of look at it, I really miss the Penske scallops, I'm not going to lie. Especially on Logano's car, because Logano's cars don't look so great anymore with those missing scallops. But I mean, hey, thanks to the number placement of the number being moved forward, they had to take the scallops away because they just didn't look right. It was either that, or they just didn't really, they felt like the scallops weren't needed, or maybe they just were tired of it and they just kind of got rid of them. So this is pretty much your average paint scheme of the Logano car or the Keselowski paint schemes for the scallops. It's the same thing, just, different colors, different sponsor, and of course they turned it into a different diecast. So with that being said, let's go ahead and open this bad boy out of the box and take a closer look. Here's the diecast out of the box, and honestly, it looks a lot better. Now, I kind of got a little bit of an idea. I thought about, what if we actually took the Wrangler text and threw it on to this blue and yellow car? I don't know if I'll actually do it, but I feel like it would be a pretty, fun little project just to kind of test out how the matching would be, so on and so forth. And it'd be a cool little fantasy paint scheme for good old Brad Keselowski. Now, yes, the LW3 channel has the blue and yellow colors, but at the same time, I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, blue and yellow, throw Wrangler on it. No, that's not what I'm here for. I just honestly think that it might look pretty good on this specific paint scheme. Now, Brad Keselowski did not have a very good year, no pun intended. So for 2021, of course, he got involved with that Daytona 500 crash, that very fiery ending to the 500. And I believe he only got one win, so didn't do too great with the wins. I don't remember how consistent he was. I just know that he didn't have a good first place, or not first place, but a good finish for the first race. And I remember that he only won the Talladega race. And a little fun fact, he actually won the iRacing race as well in the same paint scheme, and kind of something a little more kind of weird, right? So Logano flipped in the Talladega race. I don't remember if it was the same one, but in the Talladega race, he flipped, and in the iRacing race, he flipped as well. So Logano flipped in the virtual world and the real world, and Keselowski won the race in the virtual world and the real world as well. So, I don't know, kind of a little oddball thing. But we got Pirtek right there on the hood. It got a little, weird gear-looking thing there. Now, I don't know what Pirtek is. I believe I've only heard of it maybe one or two times before, but I might have to look up what that is. I got the Keselowski right there with the Ford on each side. Right here on the roof, we got the number 2 with nothing behind that. I love it when they do that. It gives more attention and kind of pays more of a focus to the number 2 on the roof. So we got Keselowski right there, Worth right there on the deck lid. And we got a yellow spoiler back here, which looks very nice. Pirtek, once again, yes, that is off-center, but for a good reason. It is very hard to tell, but there is a camera right there as well. So because of that, they kind of had to shift the Pirtek logo over to the right. So I got the Mustang headlights, yeah. The taillights back here, got the Ford license plate, got the number 2, which looks to be the double printed, actually. Which is kind of interesting, and I do want to point out, I love how the yellow wraps around the entire paint scheme. So you can see it goes from the front, wraps around the skirts. Oh, there's a little bit of a decal air there. So it goes to the skirts, goes back to the rear quarter panel, wraps around the back bumper, and then heads back down the other side. I really like that. Doesn't look so bad whatsoever. So over here we got the Pirtek Freightliner snap on there. Now, here's where I got to nitpick a little bit. So with Lionel, you know, granted, it's a little hard to paint these wheels, but at the same time, they don't do it very well. You can see that one's not painted very good. Let's check this one out. That one's painted consistently, but it's not painted far enough. It looks, I don't know, it makes the tire look really big. Over here, it's about the same song and dance, and over here it's about the same as well. And the yellow doesn't really, you can see on the center, like more towards the axle, it's a lot more yellow, then it kind of fades out to a green. That is simply because Lionel did not color the wheels very well. So, you know, there's that. Got Auto Trader, Bag Keselowski there. Wabash, got Discount Tire, got the yellow splitter, or spoiler, yeah, splitter, spoiler, learn your places. The side skirt right here, there we go. For the Bag Keselowski on the name rail, that is there, and on for the B-post. We have Ford, Pirtek, PPG, Mazak, Dent Wizard, and Safety Clean, maybe? I don't know if I pointed this out, but there is Auto Trader on the seat post as well. So I got the NASCAR race car, NASCAR Cup Series. You can see you got the scallops there outlined in red. Got the black Goodyear there. Ooh, look at that axle. Everybody see that too, right? Yeah, look at that. Oof, that's not great. How does that look on the other side? It doesn't look too bad. It actually does kind of the same thing. So, you know, good old Lionel in their die-cast quality. Right here on the front end, you got the Mustang. Of course, you got the number 2 with the headlights there. Got the black splitter there as well. Got the Sunoco logo there. So, yeah, paint scheme, not terrible, you know, but not really great at the same time. Again, it is just a Penske scallops with the blue and yellow. As I said, I might try to tweak around with this a little bit. I might just try to either make a custom of it for the Wrangler on there, see how that works, or just kind of sell it off later on, or I could, I don't know, scrap it and turn it into some other Keselowski car. I want to make a custom of the snap-on that was from the Speed Weeks, I believe. It had like that little wood grain type hood design, and it had snap-on on it. I wanted to do that so bad, but I can never find the template for it. I cannot find the material to make that hood, so it was very difficult to find. In fact, so difficult to the point where I was unsuccessful. But nonetheless, this is a pretty cool little alternative paint scheme if you are a Brad Keselowski fan, just like myself. He's not my top dog, but he's my second favorite. Why? I'm not really sure, but I mean, he is. So, you know, not a bad Brad paint scheme. Bad Brad, I guess, you know, big bad Brad. But yeah, so if you're a Brad Keselowski fan, I don't know the rarity because I've had this paint scheme for quite some time. So I'm not really too sure on that, but I mean, again, it's a blue and yellow, it's a Pirtek car. We've already gotten the Pirtek car before. Again, I do not remember if it was 2020 or 2019. I just know that we have gotten it in the past, so if you kind of missed out on that one, just like I did, and actually planned to pick that one up, but I just never got to it. And, you know, whichever one's cheaper, even if, I don't know, one could be more rare than the other. The 2021 could be more rare than the other, or, you know, of course, vice versa. But I don't know if I'll hold on to this paint scheme. Once again, it is a really nice paint scheme. It's just the scallops nonetheless. But I do like the blue and yellow combination. Of course, there's a little bit of bias to that color combination. But I mean, at the same time, they had a Advanced Auto Parts for Blaney that was black and yellow. And that looked super good. So you could argue that the Penske scallops were actually really good for paint schemes. Because all you had to do was take the two colors and either switch them around or change them to a different color combination, and it would more than likely look good on pretty much, you know, any color combination. You could do a black and a baby blue, or you could do like a black and orange, or a red and black, like they've done before, or a black and yellow, blue and yellow, you know, whatever. Maybe like a black base and a light, like a lime green. I don't know. I feel like that'd look pretty good as well. But again, if you're a Brad fan, or even a Penske fan, or even a Pirtek fan at that, I feel like this would be a pretty decent diecast to pick up. So, you know, that's just kind of my thoughts on the car. I would give this a solid. Now, the Penske scallops are kind of cheap, I'm not going to lie, because I've used them so many times before. But, I mean, paint scheme-wise, I'm not going to give it too high of a rating. I'm just going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. Now, I feel like the paint scheme design or layout is a 7 out of 10, but again, the colors, they were a very good color combination, so I feel like that'd bump it up at least just 1. But I don't know, let me know how you feel down in the comments below. So with that being said, I do believe that'll be all for this diecast review. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.